What's up guys, Devin here. A friend of mine wanted a guitar tutorial for Romeo's Distress by Christian Death, total death rock goth classic, and I'm more than happy to do it. Some pointers about this song that I'll go through is, the use of octaves. Rick Agnew in the Adolescents, his big style was octaves and DI. You heard it all over, Hang 10 in East Berlin, all those songs, and I see a lot of people on YouTube, they play the single notes. It's, per Rick Agnew style, you could hear that it's octaves. But I'll go through that just because, I like to sound as close to the record as I can. And I want to tell you guys, of course. And I'm also using a chorus pedal. Mine is the Walrus Audio Juliana, the new model of Sweetwater. So yeah, here we go. So if you're familiar with octaves, you're going to be on the 11th fret and you're going to play a G sharp octave. It's just A string, 11th fret, and then 13th fret you're going to be on the G string. So just these two notes. And make sure you're muting the other strings with your first finger because you don't want them to ring out like this. You just want this. Because you're going to want to be able to slide them around per the main riff and not get any extra strings ringing out. So it should sound like this. And so we're going to play that, and a cool way to play that is if you roll your volume all the way down on your pickup and you hit it, and then you slowly bring it up, you'll get kind of a more dynamic sound that's on the record than just hitting it when you hear it. It sounds like this. So what that part is Rick hits it a couple times, the same G sharp octave, and then he's going to take that same octave shape and he's going to slide it up to the 14th fret and get the B octave. So he's going to go. So faster, that sounds like this. And then you're just taking that octave shape after that down 2 frets to the 9th fret. So, and then you'll hear you could do this either way. You could do a slide or not do it at all, but you hear a bit of a pick scrape like this. If you take the side of your pick and you just scrape it against the strings like this. And then he keeps that going for a while, and that carries you through until Ross starts singing, and then you hear the verse. So it's like this. Again, from the start. Then just play this. You're just sliding between the G sharp octave and the F sharp octave, and same octave shape and everything, muting all the other strings, remember? You don't want it to sound like that. You want it to sound like just 2 notes. And then afterwards, once Roz starts singing, it's very simple, but I think there's some details here that are pretty prevalent that you should try to get. It's just going to be an E power chord. So that's A 7th fret and D string 9th fret, and you could add the octave in there and also the open strings if you want. And then you're going to go over to C sharp, and you could play that here on the 4th fret or the 9th fret right here. But it's going to sound like this. And then after that is a really interesting chord. And this is the way I fret it, just because it's easiest for me. So it's basically like an E power chord, but you're going to lift off your first finger, and you're going to leave the A string open and all the other strings open, while leaving your ring finger and pinky both on the D and G on the 9th fret. It sounds like this. So again, that sounds like this. Then after that, you're going to go do a C sharp octave. So again, those octave shapes are really important in this song, and I see a lot of people on YouTube, and it's not that they're playing it wrong per se, you know, that sounds just, it's, I mean, they are playing the notes, but the octaves are a big part of this song. That's what gives it the goth kind of sound. So you're going to have the C sharp octave up to E. So then repeat. Then this is where it changes again. So you're going to have the octaves, but you're going to go up a bit further this time. So it's going to be C sharp, E, F sharp, C sharp, E, F sharp, C sharp, E, F sharp, C sharp. End on the E. Don't go up to the F sharp after a couple of times. I think it's after 3 or 4 times. So again, that sounds like this. E, and then the next part is during the chorus of the song, the bass is doing something really interesting. I think the bass is on F and then it goes up to G, but Rick did something really cool, is that he did this kind of weird dissonant thing that sounds like this. So what that is, it's going to be G on the 9th fret and B on the 10th fret, and that's basically like you know, a mini A chord, because this is the major triad of it, you know, same chord, but he's omitting the 3rd because the song's in minor. And well, the part, you know, isn't meant to have the 3rd in it. I think actually it's a major, but regardless. And then you're going to pick through that. It's just those 2 notes, so it sounds like this. And then you're going to just slide up those fingers, both 1 fret each, and it's going to be now 10th fret on the G and 11th on the B, and it'll sound like this. It's going to be a little tricky at first. Even I find myself messing it up, like when I did that example, but if you slow it down, you could definitely get it. So it sounds like this sped up. And the way you fret this is really important. You need to find a way that you can play this accurately while, you know, it's not feeling kind of awkward when you fret it. And the way that I mean that is that I use my index finger and my ring finger because I'm used to playing power chords, you know, with the octave. I'm used to playing these D major inversions of chords all up and down the neck. So these fingers are strong, and you could also play it like this, you know, like some people do when they do extensions, kind of like. But for me, I just find that these fingers work best. You know, another fingering you could try is your index and your middle finger. That might be even better because those are your 2 stronger fingers, you know, on your hand. But anyways, so you'll go through that part, and then after that we go back to the octaves, but we almost go back to like the octaves how we were playing them in the first part of the song. In that it sounds, I'll play it to you up to speed, and then I'll slow it down. So what we're doing there, we go back to the octaves we played basically in the beginning part, and we'll go up to the G sharp octave and down to F sharp, but we're going to kind of just be strumming them, you know, almost like we're playing acoustic. And we're going to go G sharp to F sharp, back to G sharp, up to the 14th fret and catch B. So kind of like we did in the beginning when we did that initial. So we're going to go. And we're going to do that once, and then you're going to keep repeating this sliding up and down between the G sharp and F sharp, and then after that we're going to go all the way up to the 16th fret, I believe. So bad at math. And we're going to play the C sharp octave there, so it sounds like this. So you don't have to be entirely precise here, but I think there is something to be said about the strumming here is that Rick does have, you know, that kind of precise, like, going there. So if you listen, it's, it might take a little bit of practice with the record to get, but it's very, you know, you could definitely hear that he's strumming it in a certain way, so. So anytime it gets up to these higher octaves, you'll hear that it's like lots of slides. So the biggest part of this song is the octaves and slides, and that's one thing to practice, is that you could practice sliding your octaves. But especially in this part is, you know, just playing it like this. You know, it's fine, but it sounds better with the slides, and I think that's how Rick was playing it too. And, but yeah, definitely try getting that strumming down, you know, just try listening to the song, keep practicing that one part, because if you do it, then it'll sound even more like the record. So, slow down, it sounds like this. And those last two times he just goes up to the B octaves, and then after that you'll probably go back to another verse if I remember correctly. But that ending part, which is a really beautiful part when he's, you know, saying, "Get into bed, take off your clothes," whatever. You know, it's basically just following the E major scale. And the way I play it is that when I did that cover on YouTube, the instrumental version, I layered a lot of parts because I double tracked it in stereo, so right and left, vice versa. And one way you could play it is if you go down to here on the 5th fret, and you could use whatever finger you like. Sorry, you can use your middle index, whatever you like, really. And you place your whatever finger you're fretting with on the B string, and you leave the E string open. You'll get a unison, so like this. So you'll hear in a lot of riffs and songs, they have stuff like... That's one of my favorite things. I write riffs like that all the time because it's just so melodic. But basically, it's going to be following E, E flat, C sharp, B. But if you leave your finger down and leave the E string open, ringing the whole time, you'll get a little beautiful kind of melody that you could play throughout the entire thing and mess around with moving your fingers within the E major scale. So like this. You know, if you don't want to leave the E string open, or it's just you're having trouble with it, you could just play the... But those are the notes. It's E, D sharp, C sharp, and then B. And you could also play that here. I just think it sounds better with the unison right there. But after you play that a couple times, and Roz, you know, finishes singing, you know, basically it's like you can end, you know, on an E, So like this. But you'll hear at the end, Roz actually slides up, and one last time he hits that G sharp octave. So it sounds like this. And then slides down. You want to get that slide down so you hear the... But, yeah, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments or message me. I think I covered everything, in the song. Again, if, you need any help with anything, I'll leave everything in my description for the YouTube video, and on Instagram you can send me a message. But I think that covered it all. But yeah, I think Only Theater of Pain is a genius album. I think Roz was a really cool, eccentric guy. I don't think he's a guy that you were probably going to be able to be easy to pin down, because he just seemed like he had a lot of facets to him and seemed like a very interesting guy. And of course, Rick Agnew was just really cool, in the Adolescence and DI and early Social Distortion before they ever did anything, which I thought was a cool fact. And then he did Christian Death, and that's really cool too. It's a shame Roz passed away, and it's cool Rick is still playing. That's cool too. There's another Christian Death song I really love called Death Wish, and I might do a lesson for that, because I think it's got a really interesting riff in there. But yeah, I hope that helped, and I hope you get a chorus pedal. I hope you learn this one and rock it out. Yeah, again, thanks and peace.